People go to Bourbon Street for escapism, to get away from the rigors of work and the rigors of pushing the envelope. What's the future of Bourbon Street? I actually have a pretty easy time predicting the foreseeable future of Bourbon Street next 10 or 20, 30 years. You're going to see shifts toward the musical tastes of the current and next generation. You'll hear probably less classic rock and oldies and Mustang Sally and that sort of music, and probably more of whatever young people are listening to today, add 20 or 30 years when they're middle-aged bourbon tourists. So bourbon is very adept at knowing what the masses want and delivering it. I think you're going to see a blurring of the so-called lavender line at St. Anne Street. That's already blurring. So I think you'll see micro-scale differences. But as the whole street functions, I think you're going to see stability. That stability is a product of attention. On the one side, from Vucare Commission structural restraints, VC Pora and other neighborhood association resistance to the noises and the lewdness and the crowds and the parking issues on the one side, and the sheer economic success of Bourbon Street on the other. Well, we get roughly 10 million tourists per year, back to pre-Katrina numbers. We'll probably soon exceed that. And I think it's safe to say that roughly 90% of those set foot in the French Quarter, and of those 90% of those set foot on Bourbon Street. So figure 7, 8 million, and that's not including the locals who go there, and they do. So that's pretty successful. The city benefits from the taxes this brings in, and for better or worse, Bourbon Street markets this city worldwide. That's not to say that it's not going to have competition. And the people who go to French Street take pride in completely disdaining Bourbon Street. But the competition tends to be of the variety of offering an alternative to Bourbon Street. There was an attempt a few years ago to create Fulton Street as an alternative closer to Harrah's Casino, not coincidentally, to Bourbon, but that never really fleshed out and didn't really materialize. So I predict a pretty stable future for Bourbon Street.